It's Thursday. Actually, technically it's Friday. It is now 2:45 in the morning. I have spent hours on ClipChat. Hours. And it crashed. And then it wouldn't load. And then it took so long to do. And then I'm faced with myself. She says, moving her hands around. I'm very conscious of this now. Having watched myself for hours over and over again. And last week was bad. Last week I was not in a good place. And I was ranting. And oh my God, it's just... No. And now I have hiccups. But I'm finally saved it. Oh, it's driving me mad. So yeah, I've just did my radio show, finished at 1:45 midnight. Prior to that, I had spent 2 or 3 hours trying to do ClipChat. It crashed online, it crashed on the app repeatedly, then partially saved the videos, but because it's a free one, it doesn't save the media, so if you leave it too long, it deletes it all. It's driving me mad, and I've just watched 45 minutes of me bitching and moaning, and I've done the captions, and I had to go through and correct them all as well, and it replaced cunt tea with cum tea, which was hysterical. Right, so update. Today is technically Friday. At the end of week 6, 7. Do you know what? I've lost track. I have lost track. I went to Rounders on Tuesday. I played for a little bit, as you saw. My trousers kept falling down. And then yesterday, I've had complications from the hysteroscopy that I had. I remember the name. And I'm still having those complications to the point where I was supposed to go to the gym today and start my new membership. And I was unable to go because I was not in a fit state to go. And I'm also consciously aware of not too much information. Do you know what I mean? And having had to see all these captions of how I talk, when you read it back, it's like listening to Trump, and I'm like, oh my God. So yes, I have been unable to do the things I wanted to do this week, and yeah, and I shall not share the nasty. Actually, I'm watching the video now, it's uploading, and it just said, what am I doing with my hands? Look, right, I have Italian heritage. We talk with our hands. That's what we do. Also, I have ADHD, okay? And I have cognitive dysfunction. So it's very annoying watching myself talking and then seeing me say a word, but it's not the word I've wanted to say. And then I've had to correct it in the captions, because if anyone's got like, and then having to read my absolute mumble rubbish, it's made me feel very conscious of my issues. So I'm now going to try very hard to deal with that. And I've also noticed that I talk very quietly, which when I'm listening back, I'm having to increase the volume on the video. I don't know if I'm really quiet. I don't think I am. I can be really loud. And so me talking at this level isn't helpful for you. I have got some update on my phone. So even though I haven't got a webcam on my computer, apparently I can start using my phone as the webcam, and I have a professional microphone, so that might be really helpful with the voice. So there you go. It's near 3 a.m. I am going to bed. Weight wise this week, I got down to 19.1. I was so excited. And then the grim thing happened. It's grim. It's really grim. I phoned the hospital ward and I let them know what was going on, and they said it sounds perfectly normal, and I went, yay, that's what I love to hear. Oh, right. Okay, I'm going to bed now. I hate Clipchamp. It can go fuck itself with a stolen dick. Looking forward to reading those captions. Bye. Did a video last night. Thought about it. Not sure I'm going to post it. It was nothing wrong with it. It's just long. Probably a bit boring. So yesterday was the end of week 7 and now I'm on week 8. I will be ordering the next level up in Mounjaro on, well, tomorrow. And here's a little tip for you. Right, so I don't know if this is going to be across the board to all your suppliers, but I do know for this with my one is that I ordered it and then it took a week. That delivered on Saturday, and then it was quite a few days before I managed to have my first jab because I couldn't do it, and then I couldn't find someone to do it for me. So everything was delayed. So as a consequence, when it gets around to that order point where you a month, you're getting these emails going, hey, don't forget you got to order soon, and it's just time to order. And then I've just got another one this month because last month I got a 10% discount code saying, oh, don't forget to order. Oh, here's some incentive. So I was like, oh, thank you very much. I'll enjoy that. I think it was £17 off or something like that. I was like, fucking a sniff of that. So I've just got, I didn't have one yesterday and I just checked it and it must be the trigger point because I just got another 10% code. I have to buy it when I get my PIP payment, which is every 4 weeks on a Thursday. So, well, around this time of the month, which is the 14th of May. So, yeah, there's a top tip for you. If you're going to order it and do it, leave it a week before you do it, the first one, and then you might get a discount code as well, whether it's from ASDA or from whoever it is you're using. I don't know. They use it as incentives of like, please come back, have a code. So yeah, come tomorrow, I'm going to be ordering the 7.5. Basically, I gained weight going on the spreadsheet, and I don't know whether I've set the codes up right or not. It should just be simple. You start the week off on that weight and you delete that weight from that weight, yeah, and then that tells you how much you've lost at the end of the week versus the front of the week. But I also do an average, yeah, but then it said like 500, so 500 grams, it's like half a kilo. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But then this is why I keep in the spreadsheet, because I swear that this is what happens when you get gaslighted all the time. I swear they don't fucking believe you, right? So I thought, right, I'm going to keep a spreadsheet to prove. Now, I've been tracking long before I started Mounjaro, right? So I was on a calorie deficit, a good 500 calorie deficit, and I was trying to be more active. And in fact, I'd been going to the gym and I gained weight. Now, I've told this story many times before. You might just be coming into it. So I started Mounjaro 7-8 weeks ago, yeah? Last week, obviously, I was still dealing with the aftermath of, and it was an aftermath of the biopsy that I had. Thankfully, all that seems to have settled down as from Monday this week. So that's great. I can start doing stuff again. And I was looking at the spreadsheet to basically clock my activity and my calorie intake, how many calories I didn't eat from the allotted amount, and how much energy my Fitbit had said I'd used, right? So this last week versus week 6, yeah, I had I think it was 1,300 calories less than week 6, and I had used 1,400, I think it'd be kilojoules, wasn't it? Whatever the, not steps, as in how much energy I've used, so it must be kilojoules that I'd used. I'd had less and I'd done more, basically, by a lot, and I gained, and it weren't fucking muscle. Now it could be because I was in pain a lot. I was taking more codeine, it's made me more constipated, and so it could just be congestion in that respect. I don't feel like my edemas come back on, but there you go. It's very frustrating, and this is what I have to live with. Meanwhile, I'm looking at other people's channels and they've lost like 22 pounds in 8 weeks. It's like, what? Oh my god, I'm sitting on 19.2 and I've started on, what was it? I can't remember now. It's not, I've lost half a stone in 8 weeks, and it's great, and it's not always about the scales. I get it. I get it and I understand it, but it's still very frustrating and very, very irritating. But I did go and buy a new pack of underwear yesterday because my other ones were getting too big, and they were new-ish as well, so they hadn't got like overworn and stretched and, you know, comfortable granny pants. But yeah, so I've gone the next size down, so that's a good indication. The inch loss on the thigh and my waist is another good indication. The watch has got a nice big gap. Still not quite ready to go down yet, but it's getting there. So I know it's not always about weight, it's about other things, you know. But it's still really frustrating. It's really frustrating. I mean, how do you do more, eat a lot less, and gain weight? And I honestly promise you, on everybody's life who I love, that I am not bullshitting. I just don't understand it. So anyway, I was thinking after I'd done that video last night, that did I really address the things that I had heard on Jeremy Vine's show the other day about the fat jab? He was talking to a doctor whose name eludes me, but she was awesome. If I remember her name, I will try and put it in the comments. In fact, there'll probably be a little ticker tape right here where it says her name. Sorry, doctor. But she was spot on. And Jeremy Vine, and he's not a stupid person, but my God, he says some stupid shit. Oh yeah, if you have a jab, that makes you just want to eat all this. It's like, you're talking shit. I tell you what, people who have an opinion on this need to take it, even though they do it for a couple of weeks, yeah? And then they'll start talking out of their fucking ass, yeah? So, one example, James Smith had, he did a recent video going, right, I admit it, I was wrong, I had an opinion, and then I thought I'd give it a try. And then he talked about his experience, and fair play, he corrected himself. That's great. You can be wrong. Just, you know, just eat some fucking humble pie and educate people with it. You know, you can have that, but it's got to be your opinion, not based on what someone else has told you, right? Okay. So yeah, he's asking all these questions. Oh yeah, you can just. It doesn't make you burn fat. It doesn't. It's not like one of those things that make you fat binders, where if you have unhealthy fatty foods, that basically you're shitting through the eye of a needle. And then you hear all these horror stories of girls who are on the train and she's not known that she's dribbling orange poo down her leg because she didn't know, because it's just leaking out of her body. It's not that. It's literally, I'm trying to explain it. You're just not hungry. You're not thinking about food, which is annoying when you go shopping and you don't know what you're going to buy. So there's that. I had a camera club this week, and the only time I eat biscuits, like, you know, the chocolate biscuits, is when I'm at the camera club, which is once a month, yeah? So there's chocolate hobnobs and some chocolate digestives, because everyone seems to like those. There was a whole load of them, and it was voted that these particular ones, they're Aldi and Lidl ones, they're actually really cool. Can't afford McVitie's, darling. Anyway, normally I'll be grazing on them, and yeah, I track them, but they're 88 calories each, right? So I'll be using quite a lot of my calories allowance on those biscuits for once a month, right? Because you got a cup of tea and you got a biscuit, it's going in your face. And of course you have to yam it in before it falls in. It's a sport. Don't worry, the alarm won't be going off for the tea, so you should be good. I did it after the alarm. So yeah, I normally I'd have, I don't know, six or seven, because I wouldn't have had my dinner, and I knew, because it was that time of night, that I wasn't going to be eating till later, and I probably hadn't had a very good lunch, and I'd had a big bowl of porridge or whatever for breakfast, so I'd be hungry and I think, right, I'm going to have this biscuit, track them, blah blah blah. Well, since I started the jab, I had I think I had three biscuits, and I ate them very slowly, and it was just like, normally it would be like dunk, and this is why I don't buy biscuits as well, because I discovered this like many years ago. There's a packet of biscuits, there's a cup of tea, that packet of biscuits going, and when you see how many calories per biscuit, it's like, yeah, this is why you put a lot of weight on very quickly. So I banned myself from buying things like that. So every now and then I let myself have a treat. So yeah, and it's just, I took like 5 minutes to eat one biscuit, for God's sake, the minute to biscuit ratio was vastly reduced. Yeah, I had like 3 or 4 biscuits, and I did, and yeah, it's insane. But also, like this woman was interviewed, said she went out for a birthday treat, and she had burger and chips, and you can imagine them going, it was probably a very good quality burger. Protein, there's vegetables in there, there's fibre in there, there's carbohydrates and stuff like that. There is nothing wrong with a burger. There's nothing wrong with a small portion of chips. Yeah, the fact is, she didn't eat it all. The fact is, she left it. Whereas previously, you get this whole mentality as well, you have to clear your plate. She didn't clear her plate. It's like, rewinding the tape of all the stuff that your parents told you at the dinner table. There's children starving in Africa, all that shit, right? I grew up in the 80s. That's the stuff that we grew up listening to. And huge pile of food, and eat your food, and then if you don't eat your meat, you don't get your pudding, that stuff. And it's like, it's wiped that information that you've had programmed, and you've been taught that unhealthy relationship with food since you were tiny. Yeah, so you've learned this behavior, right? And then suddenly you're faced with this food that is delicious, you're going to enjoy it, and normally you would have quite happily demolished that and probably had a pudding as well. And instead, your body is saying, you don't need to eat any more food now, you're okay. So actually, and then it's the being okay. It's like there's a switch where you are okay with leaving food on your plate. And it's not a conscious effort. It's just like, I mean, I actually did have a cheeseburger the other day, because it was just like, the double cheeseburger from McDonald's, because I hadn't had lunch and I needed to eat something, and I knew there's a decent amount of protein in it, and I just wanted something dirty. I was hemorrhaging really badly, and when you're on your period, you want that stuff. So I thought, right, I'm going to have it. I will track it. Yeah, it's part of my calorie allowance. That's okay, right? There is no bad food. Guilt is not an ingredient, as I keep hearing, thanks to Liam Layton. Great channel, go and check him out. And normally you'd eat it as you're driving, you're not thinking. That was another thing, is that you eat without being conscious of what you eat. I mean, I spent, God, it was like 300 quid on a Paul McKenna course years ago about, tapping, happy birthday to you, and all this lot, and you're trying to disassociate what you think is hunger from thing. This is the whole ADHD thing as well. By the way, my hands are moving around everywhere again. So yeah, you are programmed for these certain behaviours. And I'm eating this double cheeseburger, and I literally took a bite and I put it down, and I was chewing it, and it's like, yeah, it's alright like this. And I thought, I never put the food down. I hold on to it. I'm not sitting there going, and scoffing it, but I don't put the food. It's like you're putting your knife and fork down between bites. I never do that, and yet I'm doing it. And it's not like I'm sitting there going, oh, I'm going to do this. It's literally, I'm taking time to eat. I'm taking time to enjoy my food. And then when I'm full up, I stop eating. But the thing is, the jab makes you not hungry. Yeah, so you go for hours without eating, and you think, oh, I'm not hungry, and then suddenly you go, oh God, it's sun's gone down, and the sun goes down at 9:30 now. Yeah, damn, I've not had anything proper to eat. Damn, so then you have something to eat, and then I ended up with 800 calorie left over. So to add that onto the 500 that's already there, I'm having a mad deficit of calories. So yeah, meanwhile, he's saying all this stupid shit about, oh yeah, you can eat all these donuts. No, you can't, because you don't want to. You don't want to eat the fucking donuts. Yesterday, right, bargain hunter that I am, is in Tesco, and there was various things that are reduced. I can't help myself. I've got loads of vegetables, because I do love my vegetables. Whether or not I get to prepare those vegetables and eat them, another thing, but I'm going to try anyway. So there was like a gym lunch, and it was essentially just lentils, and there was a couple of pieces of chicken tikka in it, and a couple of bits of cabbage and that, and it looked decent, and it was, reduced enough for me to say, right, okay, that's worth it. So I had that yesterday for my dinner. But there was these 2 luxury chocolate Belgian eclairs, and I looked at them, and they were really reduced, and I would have had no problem at all. Every now and then I'd treat myself to a cream cake, right? Because why not? You're allowed to. You can have a cream cake. And I looked at them and I thought, I don't actually want those. So I didn't buy them, and I didn't eat them. And that's what the fat jab does. It kind of reprograms your association with food. Now, what happens when people come off it? It's hopefully you will have learnt the habit of doing those things, but who knows? But yeah, the stupidity of the comments, it's just, and she was a rock star. She answered them. And I don't know whether he asked these questions because that's the listenership mentality and the outrage. It's the only time I listen to Radio 2 now. It's because I was told about this particular thing, and my friend goes, you should listen to it. So I did. But she was saying about the bigotry against people who are overweight. And one of the things she said was, you're less likely to get a job and a public front-facing position if you're overweight. And that is very, very true. Now, I don't know whether it was a chip on my shoulder, but I've said it before, and people, I don't know, they kind of roll their eyes at it, but I've applied for jobs, and I've gone through and they've rang me up for a phone interview, brilliantly got on to the fact they were so impressed, they invited me in for a proper face-to-face interview, and it's like, yeah, great, now I've got a lot of tattoos, and stuff, so I always make sure my tattoos are covered up. Yeah, I had nice smart clothes on, I was clean, I wasn't caked in makeup, I was like just delicately done, so they looked like there was an effort but not enough, so I was orange. Not that anything wrong, actually there is lots of things with being orange. Don't be fucking orange, and angry eyebrows, just don't, okay? Just don't. I know I haven't really got any anymore, but I've never plucked them. But then I could probably darken them. Anyway, ADHD. What was I saying? I've forgotten what I was saying. I have actually forgotten what I was saying. Oh my god. My tangents tied me up in a knot. What the fuck? What the fuck? I've forgotten. I've literally forgotten what I was saying. You can't sit here for another 5 minutes while I work it out. My god. Why does this happen? Oh my god. I'm actually going to have to stop this now and watch that back. Thank God for rewinding and starting again. Yes, the job. So I had a job interview on the phone. I was invited in for an interview. I'm covered in tattoos. So I made sure that I was wearing smart clothes and I looked good, light makeup. And that was what took me off the thing. The tangent was the being tango face with the angry eyebrows. I understand that now. Okay, I'm not going to edit out because I'm still giggling about that. Anyway, so I go into this job and they've already said how much they like me on the phone and how talented and experienced and all that other gumph, right? I walk in there and I go, good morning, and their face just went chomp. And I didn't get the job. Now, there may well have been other candidates that were much better and suitable for the position, but going on the fact that their face hit the floor, yeah, because you are biased against when you are overweight. Instantly, you must be fat because you eat too much. You know, sometimes that is true, but it's not always true. And you are just gaslighted by every fucker. And then, of course, that makes you feel worse. And then if you are inclined to eat your feelings, you just go round and round in a spiral of just worthlessness and lack of hope and no one listening to you because no one takes you seriously because you're fat. Oh, you need an operation? Lose weight. Oh, my arm's fallen off. Oh, you need to lose weight. Well, I've just lost the weight in my arm. Yeah, I know it's been silly, but it's true. And if you're a woman and overweight, oh my God, it's literally... True story. I'm going to try not to lose my thread on this one. My lovely doctor referred me to the chronic fatigue clinic because it was deeply impacting my life. And it's on my medical notes and it says, and they came back from the clinic and it said, inappropriate request, patient's BMI is too high. So my chronic fatigue is because I'm fat. That's basically what they were saying. And if I could deal with my chronic fatigue at the time when it was really bad, I would have been more active, wouldn't I? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. And no, I was too fat to do the clinic. Another time I was referred to a gym scheme. It was about 10 years ago. That came back with, I'm too fat to be on this scheme because they had a thing. BMI is made up bullshit, by the way. It's not accurate at all. And it's a load of wank. And there's no way that our medical profession should be gauging our health needs on a bullshit thing. It just is. But whatever, that's what's in place now. You can rant and rave about it all you like. That is how it is. So yeah, it's wanky bollocks. So I think there you go, new word for you. I wonder how that's going to come up in the captions. So yeah, last week gained a little bit of weight, but then I was horribly constipated. I did more. I ate less. We're now in week 8. I start on 7.5. I think I've got a couple of injections left. But I might just start straight into the 7.5 and just leave the 5 in the fridge. You've just got to be aware of the expiry date and use by date once it's open. You know, you can do that. But did I mention about the code? I probably did. See, this once again, this is the reality. And mind you, this is the middle of the day. This isn't late at night. I've had 5 hours sleep. Yeah, today my cognitive dysfunction isn't that bad. Yesterday it was terrible and I couldn't think of the words that I wanted to say, and you start saying a word and you hear it jumbled as it comes out. It's very annoying. But I discovered that actually there's things on my PIP that need to be changed because they haven't actually acknowledged there's some changes. So that's to my benefit. Well, it's to their benefit because they're not paying me what they should be paying me. Ideally, I mean, by the way, you can get PIP and have a full-time job. It's not that sort of thing. So you can have a really well-paid job and claim PIP disability. It's not like job seekers or anything like that. So yes, I am really looking forward to get back into the workplace. I just want to be given a chance. I have so many skills and I've got a lot of experience, and I'm just fed up of being judged by what I look like, and unfortunately that is our society. You throw being disabled into that mix, and it's very disheartening. You are essentially told that you're worthless because you're fat, you're worthless because you don't have a job, and then you try and make a difference with your life by losing weight, being healthier, and obviously those two things aren't always connected. To be healthier, yeah, and if in the cases where you are very overweight, by losing weight, then and finding work, but then you just stalled. So you go and ask for help with retraining and stuff like that, and they go, yeah, you know, then you do all that stuff, right? And you jump through the hoops and you improve yourself and you learn, and then you try and get back out there and say, hey, I've got all of this amazing skills I want to give you for fuck all money. Give me a job. Don't even get an interview. And I don't even put that I'm disabled on applications anymore. Oh, here's another fun story for you. My last paid job was 2 years ago, and it was great. I had the interview. It was a high street store that sells tools. It's a big branded name. There's two of them. They're always next door to each other. It was one of them, and if I was supposed to be trained as a supervisor. So I go in, literally my first day, I was horribly sick, like ill. And because it was my first day, I couldn't possibly not go to work. Yeah, because how can you do that? How can you start a job and then go sick literally on the day you start? It's just not good, is it? And I was so in a bad place at the time because I had all of my money stopped, and I was having to use food banks. So the last thing I wanted, and I was forced to look for this job, but it was part-time, and I thought, right, I can do that with my health conditions. I can do this. Otherwise I wouldn't have applied for it, yeah. So the last thing I wanted to do is then represent myself badly by going on sick, right? But I had this upper respiratory infection, and I'm coughing, and it was such a toxic work culture that I was being sick. I was coughing so much and so hard. I could taste blood, and I was being sick, right? I'm working with the public, and I said, really, I should, you know, because I didn't know what it was at this point. It was just like this awful hacking cough and being sick, just from the exertion, and then because you get lightheaded as well. And I'm working in an environment where you have to have your wits about you because, like, you know, you've got loads of shelving and things like that. You have to go and get stuff, and there's stairs to go up and down, and you know, customers to present to and that. And I said, what the with this, you know, oh, but it's not COVID, so you don't even have to report it anymore or any of that. And it was like, but that's not the point, is it? The point is I could have something infectious. You could have somebody at home with a compromised immune system, which you then give this, whatever this is, to them, and then they could be seriously ill, possibly die from it. It's not just about COVID. You could have someone that you know who's got cancer, or one of our customers could have somebody who's got leukemia or cancer or something like that, where having this thing exposed to them could really seriously... I was stonewalled and gaslit, and I know you use that phrase a lot, but it happens a lot. And yes, there's a name for it now, but basically I was, yeah. So I ended up going sick for 2 weeks, right? And in that 2 weeks, I'd updated my HR, because I hadn't said it in the interview that I had ADHD and some physical disabilities and stuff like that. So I updated HR, yeah, on the system that you're supposed to, And then the manager was like, well, you never said that at the interview. And it was like, well, I don't have to tell you at the interview that I'm disabled. And that's the kicker. If I had told her that, I probably wouldn't have got the fucking job. And do you know what happened then? She then basically set up, I went back to work, did the back to work thing, was training all the stuff. And she started picking holes in things. There was this 18-year-old lad on the first day. He was saying about he's going to join the army and all this stuff. And we were talking, because it was really boring. There was nothing happening, no customers coming in. And we was talking about TV shows like Vikings and stuff like that. And I said, when they land, it was American Gods, talking about American Gods, about when the Vikings went and landed in America, hundreds of years before Columbus went and stuck his flag and all that other stuff. And he goes, Vikings never went to America. I went, oh yeah, they did. I said, honestly, yeah, there's all these really interesting like history and documentaries and stuff on it. And he went and reported me to the manager for that conversation, because I told him he was wrong in a very friendly and nice way. And it was a conversation. It was just like, look, you know what I'm like. Look, this is me. The phone came out. I went, look, see, look, it's a thing. It's so interesting. It was really cool and blah, blah, blah. And, the possibilities of it. And then it's like talking about all these films that have been based on it. And it was a normal conversation, and he reported me. And that was what I got dragged into. It was like, well, he says he won't work with you anymore. I was like, what? Because I said that Vikings landed in America and he didn't agree with me. I said, how's he going to handle it in the army when he gets told to do something by the guy? And, how's he going to handle all the hazing and stuff? And I honestly, then that was a slippery slope. And that was after I'd said that I had... She realised she'd gone on and looked at my file and saw that I'd declared that I had disabilities that I hadn't mentioned in my interview, which you don't have to. You do not have to tell them. So I have all these obstacles. I have all these abilities. I keep being told how fucking amazing I am. And then you're faced with fucking arseholes like this in real life. And that's it. So yeah, being fat on top of that is she's right. Front facing jobs, you're unlikely to get it if you're really overweight. So and that's the bullshit world that we live in. And you can change that with have different attitude. Stop being arseholes. It's none of your business. I wasn't going to be ranty, but I'm going to ranty. My mum is terrible. She's got such a terrible association with food, and I've been told my whole life that I need to lose weight. Everything, she's obsessed. And it's been. Do you know what? I'm not going to go down that avenue. But the bypassing all of that deep childhood shit is ultimately I learned to say, my weight is none of your business. It's not. I'm doing a blog about my journey with this fat jab, but my weight is none of your fucking business. It really isn't. So you've got these people commenting about stuff on, oh yeah, she's got to be fat, or he's this, or whatever, and they make on really just trolling the shit out of people, right? It's none of their fucking business. It isn't. My body is none of your fucking business. Your body is none of my fucking business. And as soon as people start to fucking learn that, the better. Because, oh my God, the things that... maybe it's just an algorithm, but people are dicks. And, yeah, I'm now that age where I'm just going to fucking say it and I don't care anymore. So there you go. Right, that's 15 minutes on top of the other one. Oh my God. Maybe week 8 will just have its own video. I don't know. Anyway, I seem to have hit a plateau, and hopefully the next size up will do the job. Love you, bye.